A new kind of war is unfolding, a conflict not waged with tanks, missiles, or armies, but fought quietly in the expanse above our heads. The battleground is space, and the prize is something invisible yet immensely powerful: control over the world's internet. In this new era, the two titans facing off are America's Starlink and China's ambitious satellite constellations, often dubbed SkyNet. The outcome of this struggle may shape not just how we connect, but who holds the keys to information, influence, and even surveillance for decades to come. Starlink began as a bold experiment by SpaceX, the company founded by Elon Musk. The idea was simple in concept, but Herculean in execution. Launch thousands of satellites into low Earth orbit to beam high-speed internet anywhere on the planet. No more dead zones in rural villages, no more slow connections in remote mountain ranges, no more isolation for people far from city centers. As of June 2025, Starlink has already placed over 6,000 satellites in orbit, with plans to send up to a staggering 42,000. Its reach now covers more than 140 countries and connects over 6 million users worldwide. But Starlink's role is not limited to civilian life. It has already shown its strategic muscle in times of crisis. When Russian attacks knocked out cell towers and communication networks in Ukraine, Starlink stepped in. Its satellites kept soldiers in the field connected, allowed civilians to call for help, and let the outside world witness the realities of war. Suddenly, the world understood satellite internet is not just about convenience. It can be a lifeline, a weapon, and a shield in the digital age. Not to be outdone, China has set its sights on the same prize. Its answer to Starlink comes in the form of two colossal projects: the Changfeng and Guowang satellite constellations, collectively known in some circles as SkyNet. China's vision is sweeping. By deploying over 28,000 satellites between the two networks, China hopes to blanket not just its own vast territory, but also the many countries allied with it through the Belt and Road Initiative. For China, satellite internet is about more than connectivity. It's a tool to expand influence, reduce dependence on Western technology, and offer an alternative to nations weary of relying on Silicon Valley giants. But there's another dimension to China's strategy: surveillance. China is a global leader in facial recognition, digital payment monitoring, and data control. With SkyNet, these capabilities could be extended into orbit, enabling even more powerful monitoring tools that can reach across borders. In some Chinese cities, satellite-linked systems already allow police to track faces in crowds and monitor digital transactions in real time. The same hardware that delivers internet can also watch, listen, and even censor. For countries choosing SkyNet, the promise of connectivity comes packaged with the prospect of increased state oversight. This is not just a race of rockets and radio waves. It's a fundamental clash of values and visions for the future. On one side stands Starlink, embodying a model of open access and decentralized information, at least in theory. On the other side is SkyNet, offering robust infrastructure but tightly coupled with the levers of state power and control. The choice between them is about much more than bandwidth or download speeds. It's about alignment. Imagine a map of the world, each nation deciding which system to trust. If a country adopts Starlink, it could strengthen its ties to the United States and its allies, enjoying relatively open flows of information. If it opts for SkyNet, it may find itself drawn closer to China's sphere, trading some autonomy for cheaper access or more state-friendly terms. This digital divide could reinforce old alliances and draw new lines of competition, reminiscent of the ideological rifts of the 20th century Cold War, but fought with data, not divisions. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the risks are not just theoretical. Satellites are vulnerable to cyber attacks. Hackers, whether state-backed or independent, could disrupt or hijack signals. The crowded orbits above Earth raise the risk of collisions, potentially rendering entire swaths of space unusable. And if tensions rise, a nation could seek to shut down or jam its rival's network, plunging millions into digital darkness. The threat is no longer limited to the ground. It's floating above us, in a domain where the rules are still being written.
But perhaps the greatest danger is more subtle. If the world splits into two or more competing internet systems, then the very concept of truth could fragment. What's visible and knowable in one country could be hidden or distorted in another. Propaganda, censorship, and disinformation could thrive in the gaps between networks. The internet, once imagined as a global commons, could become a patchwork of walled gardens and state-controlled narratives. So what happens next? The eyes of the world are on the undecided. Nations in Africa, India, South America, and beyond. Some are weighing the advantages of high-speed, relatively free-flowing internet from Starlink. Others are attracted to the economic incentives and infrastructure projects offered by China, even if it means giving up some measure of digital independence. The decision is not just technical, it's political, economic, and deeply personal for the billions who will live with the consequences. As these choices play out, the balance of power in the sky will determine who can speak, who can listen, and who decides what's true. The outcome will shape economies, societies, and individual lives. It will define the next era of globalization or fragmentation. In the end, this is a war that will not be won with missiles or armies. The victors will be those who master the art of connection, who can deploy, protect, and control the satellites that now form the backbone of the world's communication. The silent battle for the future is already raging overhead, fought with signals, satellites, and the speed of light itself. The question is not whether you are part of it, but whether you're aware that it's happening. The sky above is no longer empty, it's alive with conflict, possibility, and the power to shape the world below.